Hey there tech enthusiasts, welcome back to the JayTech channel. Today we're going to be bringing you the ultimate 2023 laptop guide for students, covering everything from affordable to the high-end picks. Whether you're on a tight budget or looking for something that is the best of the best, we've got you covered. Hit that like button, and also if you're new here, please subscribe for more awesome tech content. Let's roll that intro. Starting off with the Acer Inspire 3. This is a 15.6 inch display with an Intel Core i5 11-3500 G7. This should be more than enough cores and, just a load of technical stuff that I'm sure students won't really understand unless they're inside the technical brand. This also has 8 gigs of RAM, good enough for doing regular basic homework and productivity. With this, you will also get 256 gigabytes of storage. I believe this is running a HDD storage, not as fast as SSDs, but HP. This also comes with 9 hours of battery life, a HD web camera. Next on the list is the Microsoft Surface Laptop Go 2. Now, this one could come on a bit of a pricey end at a certain point. The way that these prices are is how they stand at the moment. So if they may be too expensive, I'll try and leave some other ones in the description down below as well. This costs between £529 to £729. Now, this could vary between whatever you want. So we'll just go with the low end of what they give us. So with this laptop, you get again an Intel Core i5 11-3500 G7, which is more than enough power to do basic productivity and maybe just a little bit of light gaming. This comes with around about 4 to 8 gigs of RAM, depending on what option you pick, between 128 gigabytes to 256 gigabytes storage. This is running a SSD storage, which means it's more than capable to stay up to speed. This also comes with a little bit of a downside of a display, but comes with 12.4 inches display, 13.5 hours of typical use. This means doing light productivity, as I said, or doing just a bit of light video editing. Now video editing might come a little bit more different, but we'll see. This also has for its graphics, it has an Intel Iris Xe graphics, which means it's more than capable to do any sort of graphics kind of like stuff that you want to do with it. Now for ports on this thing, you will have one USB-C, one USB-A, and a 3.5mm headphones jack. You will also have a 720p HD front-facing camera, Dolby Atmos speakers, a 39 watt power, which means that you could pull in 39 watts from your power source and bring it to your laptop, which means it should be fast charging. This does also have enterprise grade protection with Windows Hello. And also, if you guys don't use Windows Hello, there is also a fingerprint sensor. Now let's move on to the last one on this low tier kind of affordable budget laptops. And this is the Acer Spin 513 LTE 2-in-1 laptop. Now, this is only if you don't want to go with a Windows laptop, then you could go with Chromebook. Now, I wouldn't recommend Chromebook really, but Chromebook is now starting to become a little bit more better in its way, and I could see a lot of people wanting to do the cheaper option and go with something that they could start off with. Bear in mind that Microsoft Office apps that most people might use may not be suitable, but you could still make it work, and you go around that by using maybe like Google Docs or something like that, and then transforming them, or I should say encoding them to go into Word or anything like that. So as I said, this is a 2-in-1 laptop. So this is a touchscreen display, 1920 by 1080 full HD screen. Also has a Qualcomm Snapdragon 7C Gen 2 processor. Wow, that is a big name. But what this processor allows for is it allows for you to do some gaming on it, as well as just doing some productivity. And this is one of the latest Snapdragon processors. Now this processor runs a clock speed between 1.1 gigahertz to 2.3 gigahertz, which kind of like is okay, especially for a Snapdragon processor that mainly is supposed to be used inside of a mobile phone. This has 8 gigabytes of RAM, which is more than enough for, again, general basic productivity and also some gaming, especially on a Chromebook with Android running. Now for ports, now you will have 2 USB-Cs, one USB 3.0 Type A, a 3.5mm headphone jack, and this battery should last up to 14 hours. Again, on typical use. Now that's it for the low tier / affordable budget laptops. Now let's move on to the more mid-tier range. This is the range where you could expect to do some light video editing, most likely light gaming, especially with some of these products, as there's only 2 in this, so we'll try our best, and we've kind of made a good list here. Let's start off with Apple, because Apple has some great deals going on, especially when you get these things at discount price. And this is the MacBook Air M1 edition. Now, speaking about that, I'm actually using one of these right now, and these are great. Now, you may be wondering, just stop the music, stop the music. Now, you may be wondering, why am I selecting a MacBook Air M1 edition that technically was out in 2020? The reason this is because this is the MacBook that most likely will go on sale and you'll get at a lower affordable price. Instead of buying it new at £1,000, you could actually buy it for around about 700, maybe even down to £600 if you get it at that price. Most of the time, they usually go out by £100 or something like that, which is technically great enough for a mid-tier device. Now, talking about this, we're also going to talk about the specs. This also comes with an 8-core CPU. This is split into 2. You have 4 performance and 4 efficiency cores, which means it should be able to balance out your workloads that you put onto this laptop. You also have a 7-core GPU, and sometimes it could vary between 7 cores to 8 cores, but most of the time you'll get a 7-core GPU. This goes from a 256 gigabytes to 2 terabytes SSD storage, and these things are blazing fast. One of the upsetting things about the MacBook Air is that this does not allow you to do self-repairs, so you can't take out that hard drive or that SSD, and upgrade it. You would have to select before because everything is soldered onto the board. This also comes with 8 to 16 gigabytes of RAM. This comes with a 2560 by 1600 display. The display is 13 inches. It's a retina display with true tone and also runs up to 400 nits of brightness. Now, this unfortunately only has 2 ports, which is 2 Thunderbolt ports that could also be used as USB 4.0. This could only handle around about 30 watts, but could be boosted up to around about, I believe it's 45 watts. I don't think you can do that 90 watts on this one. You also have a 720p HD camera. It's not 1080p. 1080p is on the upgraded one. If you guys have a little bit more money and you guys want to kind of like push it up to another performance level, and not necessarily that want to get the latest and greatest out of the MacBooks, you go with the MacBook Air M2 edition. This is the latest one on the market. Now let's move on to the Windows kind of like competitor to the MacBook Air. This is the LG Gram 14. This comes with a 14-inch display. It comes with an Intel Core i7 1360p, which means this should be able to do anything that you actually push to it. This could mean anything from max performance to gaming qualities as well. Now, this comes with 16 gigabytes of RAM, which is the most that we've seen in a laptop so far, apart from the MacBook, without you spending a ridiculous amount of money. This also comes with 1 terabyte of SSD storage. This also comes with the Intel Iris Xe graphics as well. Now, ports on this thing is a massive kind of like step up than the MacBook Air. This comes with 1 HDMI port, 2 USB-Cs, a headphone jack. Also, it could be turned into a microphone jack, a micro SD card slot, and 2 USB-A 3.0s. That is more than enough ports, especially if you're just doing basic work. Now, that is it for the mid-tier. Now let's move on to the high tier. This high tier may be a little bit too overboard. It may be a bit too overpowered, but it's for them people that want that. Let's start off with the MacBook Pro M2. I'm talking about the Pro and the Max here. I ain't kidding when I said that this was high performance. You could get a 10 to 12 core CPU, which is an 8 to 6 core performance and 4 efficiency cores. You also get a 16 to 38 core GPU, which I'm not gonna lie, is more than enough cores to do everything you want. On this, we also have a 14.2 inch liquid retina XDR display, which means that you'll be able to see everything that you want and it'll be absolutely colorful. Now, the resolution of this display is 30 24 by 1964. This display also has XDR brightness of 1000 nits, and if you push up with the HDR limitation, we also get a peak brightness of 16,000 nits. Now, using the XDR, also known as ProMotion on Apple, you'll be able to reach up to 120 Hz refresh rate on a display panel. Now, RAM is pretty big. We get 16 to 96 gigabytes of ununified memory, which means it's fast. And I mean real fast. You could also expect to get 12 to 18 hours of battery life out of this MacBook Pro. You could also expect to get 512 gigabytes of storage, all the way up going to 8 terabytes of storage for putting all them files, all them gaming files, anything possible you can imagine. Now, ports on this thing is very big. First off, we have an SDXC card slot, which is one of the big SD cards. You also get an HDMI port, a 3.5mm headphone jack. You've also got not just only one, but not even two, but 3 Thunderbolt 4 USB-Cs. When I said about gaming, this will be able to do gaming in the next software update. Now, there'll be a link up here telling you about the macOS Sonoma update. Now, if you don't want to get a MacBook Pro, you could also get the Windows option. I have picked the Dell XPS 15 laptop. Now, this goes between a price range of $2,000 to, I believe it's $4,000. So this has way more performance than you need, especially for student work. You can either get an Intel Core i7 13700H to an Intel Core i9 13900H. You could also expect to get from a NVIDIA 4060 to an NVIDIA 4080. Both of these, I believe, run between 16 to 18 gigabytes of GDDR6. Now, this also runs between 32 gigabytes to 64 gigabytes of DDR5 running at 4800 megahertz. This also runs between 1 terabyte to 4 terabytes of NVMe SSD storage. You could also expect to get a 15.6 inch display. It's OLED, and also it should run around about 3.5K instead of 4K. It's not as good as 4K, but it should run around about 3.5K in resolution. Now, the only downside to the Dell XPS 15 laptop is that it's not as bright as the competitor, which is the MacBook. This only runs at a peak brightness of 400 nits. It's not as bright, but it will be able to get everything done that you wish. It comes with one USB Type-C, also can be used as a display port, 2 Thunderbolt 4 ports, one 3.5mm headphone jack, one SD card slot, and also supports 130 watts of super fast charging. Now, this is just off what I thought was maybe the best low, mid, and high tier range. There is way more laptops, as I said, but this is what I thought was maybe the best, especially looking at them students that might want to do just a bit of productivity. And again, you know, most people these days like doing gaming, so I picked something that might have enough performance to do some gaming as well. Thank you so much for watching this video, and please help me get to 1,000 subscribers so we can start doing some unboxings on this channel, because I know everyone is waiting for some unboxings, so let's reach that goal. Also, comment down below to say if you like the set. Anyway, until next time, this is your boy Jay, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.